Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Um, good morning to you. I'm fine, thank you.
Good,
How are
good,
you?
good. Doing well, doing well. We've got what looks like a bit of an English mist here today. It's kind of all gray and a real fine, misty rain here today. But of course, for the English, it would be an English high summer mist because it's probably, well, it's around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is probably around 20 degrees Celsius or something like that.
Okay.
So it'd be more like a summertime day for the Brits or the Scots.
Mhm.
You guys got a bunch of snow where you are, or is it?
No, we don't have any snow right now.
Hmm. I used to live in Minnesota, Minneapolis area, and up there, the winter time, you would get an average amount of snow during the winter, so it wasn't huge loads of snow, but it would get so cold that the snow that fell in October wouldn't melt until April. And so it was just every time it snowed, it just piled up and, more and more on the ground. And when they would go around and they would plow the uh, roads and everything, there were these big areas where the snow plows would pile up all the snow. And, by the time you got to the middle of February, the piles of snow would be 50, 60 feet high there. And then it would all just gradually melt during April.
Can't really relate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's parts of Switzerland up in the high Alps where they deal with that. Or that just built up enough snow and everything falls off the side of the mountain. LC lives out in Salt Lake City, and there are some areas, the high mountains, the Wasatch Range, which is part of the Rockies, is just to the east of Salt Lake City. And there's some ski resorts up there, and you go there in July, and there's still large areas that are covered with snowpack there. Even in a place like Utah, which you think is, kind of the American Southwest, so you would think it would be really hot in the summer. And down in the valleys, it is pretty hot. But up in the mountains, it stays pretty cool all year round. So we might have a new player today.
Mm-hmm.
Amira might be joining us.
Okay.
So I get to see what we have. Okay, good. Good morning, Akio.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you just fine.
Oh, very cool. Just waiting for everyone to join. I will sit tight.
Okay. All right. All right, I have midday, noon Eastern time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some of the recap and the pregame. We'll give Elsie and Wesley and anybody else who's going to join us a few minutes to get on with us this morning. My name is DM Galabond, and this is the History of D&D Session 14. I am joined far to my left across the Atlantic Ocean by Mark, who is in Sweden. And Switzerland. I'm sorry, Switzerland. And I am joined by Akio, reprising the role of Omu from the heartland of the U.S. and all the way over in the Beehive State. We are now joined by Elsie, reprising the role of Siren.
Yep.
And so we will see if we get anybody else this week. Guys, I don't know if anybody has been mentioning it, but this game is now starting to attract a pretty regular trickle of people interested in joining the game from week to week. We went through a while where it just sort of was in a holding pattern, but between the time Mark joined, there's probably been half a dozen people that have asked about joining the game. I give them the little spiel about starting with a starting with a pre-generated character to sort of get their feet wet. Some of them go ahead and join us. Some of them don't. Some of them who join us, like Akio and Mark, will look like they're going to stick around. Other people will pop in for a session or two and then decide, oh, this is a little bit too much for me. And they will go on their way. So we had one person that joined up with the Discord during the week, but we don't see her yet, so maybe she will, maybe she won't join us today. And then as of this morning, I had 2 new people that asked this morning, hey, can I join your game? And it's like, well, day of the session, that's a little bit late, so I'll just respond to them after the session and talk to them. But my goal is to get a stable group of about 5 or 6 players that all are comfortable with each other and all are steady in the game. And so we'll just keep rotating those extra chairs until we find some people that stick around and stabilize with the group. As for last time, when we last saw our heroes, they were in a bit of a pinch. Literally, they had been pinched pretty dramatically. There was a well down on the bottom floor of the Moat House where they had been. And when they got to that well, they discovered not 1, not 2, but 3 giant crayfish that were in there. Now, Trophim's quick thinking and spell use managed to put 2 of them to sleep, but the 3rd giant crayfish proved to be enough of a match on his own, and he knocked out both Omu and Siren. And through the efforts of Salvadora and Trophim, they were able to pull their 2 comrades to safety. Apparently, these crayfish aren't able to get out of the well because there was no chase given. Salvadora, I am going to say that for the sake of story, Salvadora had decided to run back and let some people know on the surface. But before she goes, she's going to do a couple of heal checks. So let's go ahead.
By the way, did Salvadora leave us?
Yeah, Salvadora decided that this game was not quite what she was looking for. 10 decided this game was not quite what she was looking for, so she's going to go ahead and look for another game, which is fine. I mean, every game is not for everybody, and she's going to make a healing check first on... Well, first of all, Omu, do you have a healing potion on you or not?
I don't think we do. I think that was why it was so down to the wire rolling those con saves last time.
Okay, so she's going to go ahead and try a healing check on you. And, oh, okay. Well, that did not quite give you any hit points back, but you are stable. And Siren, do you have a healing potion on you, or have those been all exhausted at this point?
Healing potions.
Okay. Well, then, now, were you unconscious when we left the session last week?
No, I was healed.
Who was? Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Siren.
So-
Oh no, Siren's back, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
awake. He does that. He had a healing potion in his on
okay.
his person.
All right. So Zalvadora, after making an attempt on Omu, now the way the rules in this session or in this edition work, you can try to heal one set of wounds on one character one time each day. And then if you fail at healing that, you cannot try on those wounds on that character again until the next morning. So she's done everything she can for Omu, which unfortunately wasn't much. So she's going to go ahead and she'll tell Siren and Trophim, I'll run upstairs and see if there's anybody that can help us. And off she goes. And we will just do that. So you guys are down here now. Siren, the good thing about the sleep spell that Trophim used in this edition is that sleep lasts a bloody long time. Minimum, it lasts for 20 minutes. Maximum, it lasts for 2 hours. So while you are here in the hallway with your companions, you do hear kind of a sickening crunching sound echoing from inside the well, the room where the well is. And what that signifies is that the giant crayfish who is awake has decided, oh, hey, there's 2 easy meals right here. and has just gone to town eating his buddies.
Wow.
So the
My God. Holy
at some point, unless we take a long enough time before coming back here that more of these critters can find their way down here, there is only one giant crayfish to contend with, but it has the power of 3 crayfish now that it has feasted on its.
Imagine.
Because of course, that's how things work. That's how monsters work. Is one of them eats the other, and it infuses itself with its power. No, not entirely, but it might be a pretty healthy boy when you come back and deal with it again if you're not able to get back to it today. So Omu, you're just sort of there, lolling about. Trophim, do you have any potions or any
No.
healing skill that you could help him with?
I have the skill healing, but nothing else.
Okay. Now, if you want to try it, before you try it, I'll explain how it works in this edition. When you open your character sheet and you go to your skills tab, you'll see healing. And the healing is based on, I think it's based on your intelligence. And, and you have a pretty high intelligence as a wizard. So if you have 1 rank in intelligence, you have to roll your intelligence +1 or lower. And if you do, you will give Omu 1 to 3 hit points back. Now, the caveat is if you try to use that skill and you roll a natural 20, instead of healing him for 1d3
Yeah, I'm gonna damage him. I think you explained this to us.
Oh, okay,
at least.
okay. All right.
So I need to roll a 15 + 1. I need to roll below a 16.
A 16 or lower,
And
yeah.
Can we just drag Omu back to town and then have him recuperate? He is stabilized.
He is. Siren, if you see Trophim trying to get out his med kit and everything. Are you going to encourage him to try to heal him, or are you going to say, "Oh, let's"? Because Siren has had some
Experience.
traumatic experience with NPCs trying to heal him in the past.
Yeah, let's wait until we get back to town and heal him somewhere where he won't die if you accidentally break it.
Okay. All right. Well, Sharon, I'm going to say that you're a pretty strong guy. You can help carry most of Omu's weight, and Trophim can give you a little bit of help with his wizard's noodle arms. And you guys can. He doesn't really have noodle arms, but he is a wizard, so strength is not his. Strength is not his core attribute. I think he's got an 11 strength, so that's average, a little above average. So he can help to carry half of Omu, and you guys can get him up to the surface. And then, did you all want to throw him over his horse and head back to town for now, or what?
Yeah, might as well. Let's get back to town.
Didn't you tell us something about like secret rooms or something? Like secret doors and switches?
Yes, basically, I'll recap that again. Basically, there's two areas in the. There's three areas in the dungeon where there are secret controls, and there are two secret doors that basically drop from the ceiling like portcullises. Those secret doors are here and then over here. And there is one set of controls for those behind this secret door here. And then there's another set of controls for those in here and in here. Then this false door here, if you open this false door, it will drop that secret door. And if you open this false, it will drop that secret door. So basically, it's apparently set up so that if somebody gets in here and is poking around, then it can kind of wall off their different avenues of escape and perhaps channel them into an area that's better defended and allow the normal residents of this place to try to deal with them. So that's what it seems like. That's how it seems like it's set up. But that's what you all have discovered through manipulating, and you all figured that out last week, either last week or the week before, when you were exploring after you had dealt with all the monsters.
What's this over? How do I ping again?
Just point to an area on the map and hold your left mouse button if you're on a Windows machine. Okay, I'm going to zoom out because I can't see the whole map. So where were you to ping?
I'm pinging it.
Okay, I'm not seeing it. Describe where it is. Is it over
bottom
in the
right?
Bottom right. Oh, okay. Yes. All right. That is another exit, and when you went out that way, it went about 400 feet, and it ended at a stable that was built kind of just into the side of a little turf hill, with an entry from the far side of the turf hill, and there's stalls for 4 horses. There's 2 horses in there now, and there's feed for 4 horses for about a week. 2 of the horses were gone. when you got there. So don't know if those are just, extra stalls for people that might be visiting Lareth or visiting the soldiers or whatever. But you have 2 horses there and a week's worth of food for them in that area. So that's just a direction out.
Okay, so do we just wanna use the horse to ride back to town?
I think you guys brought horses here horses here when you came back from town, didn't you?
Did we? Oh, okay, then we can use those.
Yeah. But, Trophim does make a point. Yeah, you've got those 2 horses there. Do you guys want to have somebody come out and get them and take them back to town so they can be cared for, or do you want to leave them here and send somebody occasionally to check on them, or what do you want to do?
I think. Okay. Go ahead.
I think we can just lead them back to town and
Okay.
leave them there for now. We're not living here yet, so.
All right. So you figure out there's a little game trail that leads from that stable, and it's about a half-hour meandering path, and it's maybe a total of I'm sorry, not a half hour, a half mile meandering path that comes back to the road, and then going down that road, you can find where the turnoff is to go up to the front entrance of the Moat House that you all have been using. So it's a pretty nifty little hidden way out there, and you can tell, Siren, from your time out in the woods and tracking and everything, a game trail when you see it, but it's just looks like a very natural trail. You wouldn't necessarily know it led to a habitation if you were just going down the road. You could see that, deer or whatever may use that path. So they've done a pretty good job of disguising that and keeping that back door pretty secret.
All right.
All right, so we'll head on back to town. And when you get back to town, of course, we have a couple of things on the table there. One thing that I don't think we've dealt with, at least I didn't put it in my notes, so if I have not accounted for it, then that may be on me. I don't think we've dealt with the issue of assigning out the magic items that you all discovered, as you have that suit of plate mail that you've discovered. You have that armband that keeps somebody from being able to magically hold you, and there's that staff that is a pretty hefty or hardy weapon, the Staff of Striking, which deals extra magical damage anytime you hit something. So the one thing we might want to do is figure out if there's anyone that, at least for now, should hang on to or should be assigned those items and put them into their inventory so they can use them on a regular basis. Do we have anybody that wants to claim any of those items?
I mean, I don't want to. I don't want the Staff of Striking, but I'll take either the armor or the bracers, if I could.
Okay, in this edition, the a magic user's not allowed to wear armor. So the plate mail we wouldn't be able to use, but you certainly could use that that armband. And if you can keep your magic user from being affected by something like a hold person spell, then that's pretty good, because then that means that it's less likely somebody can stop him from casting spells that might help the party. So that could be a decent thing. Is there anybody else that had their eye on that particular item for a reason? And Omu, go ahead and give yourself a few hit points back. We'll say that once you get back to town, either some of the soldiers or somebody from the temple heals you up. And Siren, you can go ahead and bring yourself back up to full hit points, because they'll help you out too.
Cool.
When you get there. So you guys can do that. But was there anybody else that was interested in that armband, that bracer? Or do we want to go ahead and say that Trophim should take that?
Sure, you can
Okay.
take it.
I don't hear any objections, so Trophim, go ahead and add. I'll put this in the Discord for you. Whoops.
Yeah, bracer of reaction.
Yep. The bracer of reaction to your inventory, and
Okay.
I'll send you a full write up about what it does in the notes from this week, so that you can have all those details. Basically, it just keeps you from being affected by a hold person or similar spells that would stop you from moving. I'll have to double check and see if it would prevent you from being restrained by something like a giant spider's web or something like that. It may or may not work against that. There are some editions where items like that do keep you from being held by mechanical means, and other editions where it just prevents you from being affected by magical spells. So I'll have to double check in this edition what it does, and maybe I'll do that at the break and
Okay.
get that information for you. Then that leaves the Staff of Striking and the +1 plate mail. So does anybody have a preference on those two?
Well, Omu, you are the party's fighter.
Should I take the? Well, there's if you take the armor, so that you can, as you have so many times before, avoid death. The Staff of Striking is basically, I think it can only be used by someone that can cast spells.
Yeah, it's a spellcaster only item. And the reason that your magic user may not want that is because it's also a melee weapon, which means that he would have to get right up in the teeth of the big furry monster without any armor to try to whack it with that staff. So now we do know that Frodo is bumping around somewhere. And I need to double check with Tony. I'm expecting that at some point he'll come back and join us. So we do have a potential cleric that could use that staff effectively at some point. And in fact, Lareth, who had the staff before, was a dark cleric of this dark lady, this mysterious lady whose name he does not feel fit to speak. So that's a
Wait,
possibility.
so the staff, is it like a magic staff? Or is it like a melee staff?
It is a magical melee staff.
Oh, so it's used in melee.
Yeah, it's used in melee. It's like a quarterstaff. You would fight with a quarterstaff, but every time you hit somebody with it, it delivers extra magical damage. So it does the normal staff damage when you whack somebody, but then it also does extra magical damage to them. And so it's striking as in striking like a punch, not striking as in striking like a venomous snake. Because there is another magic item in the game called a Staff of the Serpent, which hits for poison damage, or you can actually throw it down and it turns into a snake, and then it will go and it will attack things on its own turn, and then at the end of the battle you pick it up and it becomes a stick again. But this is just the one you hold and whack people with, and it deals extra damage. But yes, like I said, Trophim, you have to be in melee with somebody in order to.
Okay, I get it.
So,
you need 2 hands to be able to use?
staff in this game, let me just see. Let me double check what what a staff is. Okay, so equipment. All right. Weapons. Weapons are two-handed, yes.
So then I'd probably have to give it my shield to be able to use that.
Yeah, a staff requires 2 hands for use. Now, I think you have a sword which gives you the option to use it either one-handed or two-handed.
Now, currently I'm using a spear.
Yeah, well, you had loaned your sword to somebody, and I think you eventually got it back, but you've been using.
Great sword. I think it's too big to use one hand with.
Okay. Okay. So your great sword. Yeah, that is a two-handed weapon. Requires 2 hands. So, yeah, the staff would not give you the benefit of your shield. So right now, the way the party makeup is set up right now, Omu, just so you'll be aware, Siren has a magic shield. We've now given Trophim the magic bracer. And there's a set of magic armor hanging around out there. So now you were saying something last week about how your dex would prevent you from making full use of it, but the thing, because it is a magic suit of plate mail, when you're wearing this, you would have the same armor class as you would if you were wearing normal plate mail. Plus, you also have the benefits of magic armor for any enemies that care about maybe their attacks are less effective against magic armor, or somebody wearing magic armor. So that's something to consider. And you guys are certainly capable of dividing up the treasure however you want, but that's just something to keep in mind.
What does the party think in general?
I mean, if
I'm
you
easy.
wanted, I could give you my magic shield and the magic armor, so you could become the new face of the party.
Well, why don't we'll share the load, as Sam would say, in Lord of the Rings. If I take the magic armor, you keep the magic shield.
Do you use I was gonna ask. Do you use a 2-handed weapon or a 1-handed weapon?
It is one-handed.
I guess I could give you the magic shield and magic armor.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you how much would a magic staff, like normal arranged magic staff, cost?
Probably
Like a fortune, I think.
Yeah, it would cost a fortune in this game. It's probably about over 1,000 gold pieces, and you'd have to go to a bigger city than Dedale to be able to find it. So, yeah. Now, you guys are sitting, in theory, you all are sitting on several thousand gold pieces worth of treasure, but
true.
you can't liquidate it until you get to a larger area than Dedale to actually sell it, because people here would be willing to buy it, but the most they could pay you for it is 200 gold, and that would be, you would really be taking a bath on the amount of value it's worth, because I think a couple of things you had are worth 3,000 or maybe 5,000 gold each. So if you took it somewhere else that you could actually sell it for what it's worth, you would get get much more use out of that, and then you might be able to turn around and afford some afford some things for your high maintenance party members, like your wizard, who, he wants all those exotic components. And
for the moment, Elsie, why don't you take the magic armor and the shield, and then that way that's the absolute, maximal use of it. And then if there's a magic weapon that comes along, I'll take that as our resident fighter.
I guess I could give you my plate then.
Be right back.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could upgrade your armor class.
Family hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are you currently wearing?
Chain.
What's
Chain
is
what I got.
So if you take plate, if you take plate, that'll upgrade your armor class. And then if Siren wears the magical plate, that would really make him, very, very difficult for a lot of things to hit.
I'd have a -1 AC.
Oh, that's great.
AC, yeah. So that'd be good. So, all right. If you guys want to, and Omu, do you remember in these character sheets, do you remember how to edit the armor and change what you're wearing from chain to plate? Because if you do, it should automatically update your armor class.
Yeah, I just set it to plate mail. I take it it's not full plate, and so my AC is 1.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got some. Now, if we can find like a magic ring or something that will give your wizard a better armor class, then everybody will be a bit protected. But you two metalmen are going to have to kind of keep your wizard from getting squished, because you got a squishy class and two very crunchy classes that can absorb a lot of hits without taking any damage. All right. So I will put down in my notes that we have Trophim has the bracers of free action, and that Siren has the plate mail +1. Party staff of striking. Just kind of waiting on finding somebody that would be appropriate to use that. And okay, so that pretty much consumes the rest of your day. dealing with all of that stuff. So now the next morning rolls around, and you guys are getting a little bit of the side eye from the members of the village council, in terms of, well, we asked you about that lair, Bargle's lair, that needs to be looked into. And they're kind of wondering if you guys are going to do something about that. But the question remains, now you still have a monster in the well. You now know what the monster is, and you know that there's now one of them instead of three of them, at least for the moment. Do you want to take some people and go back and deal with the Moat House once and for all, or do we want to go start, get some hirelings and go look at the Lair situation and then come back and deal with the Moat House later?
I'd say we deal with a Moat House. We have that finished and in the bag.
I was gonna say Lair so the village council doesn't get mad at us.
The only thing would be, if we're really clever, at the start of this day, right? We really have two magic users, don't we? If we can go and even temporarily incapacitate that last giant crawfish, there is some treasure in the far corner of that room. It looked like might be useful on our journey, and technically it's only a little bit of tiny bit of time out of our way, and then as we travel we can rest and regain
I wish I'd
spells.
known we were just gonna burn the whole day away. I would have
I can use sleep, so I can just try again on the monster. And then if he's like actually incapacitated, we can just kill him again, like actually kill him.
Correct. This edition does have coup de grace rules written right into the rule book. So if Trophim puts him to sleep, then all it takes is either a dagger or a sword from Siren or from Omu, and boom, monster's dead once he's asleep. And then you can get that treasure. Now, I will say that your notoriety has encouraged several enthusiastic members of the city guard. So there are people that when you get up in the morning and you go down to have your breakfast at the in the Inn of the Welcome Wench, there are some off-duty city guardsmen, and they kind of are glad-handing and slap you on the shoulder, and they tell you what a great job you did, and if you ever need any help, just let us know. It's like you can tell they're the kind of people that think, well, if they help you with something, then maybe they can get in a bard's story too, and maybe their name will be remembered, and more importantly, that might actually get them some attention from some of the serving maids or the the farmers' daughters around town who are getting close to marrying age. So that you're getting attention from those kinds of soldiers that they would easily sign on for a gold or two a day, and would go and help you out with any tasks that you need. So you can discuss that either among yourselves, or if you think you want some help to go along with you. And if you need a specialist, you might even be able to look around for somebody that has some special skills. to travel along with you.
It's my only thing is I'd be wondering if we could buy any healing potions in the town.
Oh, yeah. Tuck has those available. And I forget if we established at some point before. Did we establish what it cost you guys to buy the healing potions before?
No, they were just provided by the city council for our
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, let me take a peek at my All right. Do I have a... Okay, let me just double check the equipment here. Adventuring gear. Potion of healing. Did I put that down? I did not put that down.
You're back.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say? Okay, I do have a story, or not a story, but I do have something in here about the cost of magic items. Because in this edition, basically, the cost of magic items is a formula, and it's based on the spells that are used to create the magic items and what level of magic the spells are. I think it's like 100 gold per spell level. So a potion of healing is essentially a first level cleric spell. And because you guys have an established relationship with the church and with Brother Tuck, he will actually sell you the potions at half price. So we will say that here in Dedale, from the church, I'm going to put this in general so that we have this listed. In Dedale, party can buy potions of healing for 50 GP each from Brother Tuck. Elsewhere, potions cost 100. Elsewhere, potions of healing cost 100 GP each. Okay. Yep. There we go. All right. So I'm going to also put that in the notes for the session. So we have that. So if you guys are looking at potions of healing for 50 gold each, how many potions of healing would everybody like to buy, if any?
I'd buy like 3.
I'd probably want to get 2.
Sorry, guys, I
and
was
ideally,
gone for a minute or a second. There.
we were just getting healing potions. I certainly would want to get 2, and I would be recommending that everyone would get 2 each at minimum.
Okay, I guess I'll get 2.
Okay. All right. So if you're
How much does one cost?
Yeah, they're 50 gold each. That's here in Dedale. This is what we were talking about while you were gone, Mark. Normally, potions of healing in this game cost 100 gold, but because the party has established a relationship with Brother Tuck, who is on the village council and who's at the church, he will give them to you all for half price. So when you're here in Dale, you can buy potions of healing for 50 gold. If you go to any other city where you don't know anybody, it's probably going to cost you 100 gold each. Now here at low levels, 50 gold, that's a little chunk of change out of your pocket, although you guys have racked up, a few hundred gold over the last few sessions. And so Siren certainly has several hundred gold. And each of you guys, Trophim and Omu, have gotten a couple of hundred gold probably.
Yeah, I have 354.
Good. Okay. So
I'll guess I'll buy 2, so that makes my goal 254.
Sure. Okay. Elsewhere. All right, good. So now we have that. That is now written down. So if I ever forget, it'll be in the notes. The potions of healing are 100 gold everywhere else and 50 gold here in Dale. So then what about men-at-arms? Do you guys feel like you want to grab any of them to tag along?
No idea.
Yeah, we'll bring some with us.
Could we extend the like contract of our guys? What, Aethert and Gowis were their names? Is that right?
Aether and Gauss. Oh, hey, yeah, they're down for that. In fact, you notice that you can hardly see Gowis walk into the Inn of the Welcome Wench without at least 2 of the serving girls kind of fawning all over him. The Aethert has a wife and a child or a couple of kids, but his wife really likes the gold that he brings home from spending time with you guys. So she's happy to have him.
He's down for more.
Yeah. And it's like, if I keep working with you guys, my wife is going to start having really expensive taste. She's going to want those dresses that cost a whole gold piece each.
Oh, we're happy to have you on board, and Omu probably looks like shit at the moment. He was really beat up last time, but he would clap him on the shoulder, and
You guys have been in town for a day. You've gotten some magical healing, so I presume if you wanna partake of a bath, if they're at the inn, you can partake of a bath. Now, Omu did meet a friendly widow in town,
That's
a
true.
young widow. So she might also, you may not be staying at the inn anymore. I don't know. That's up to Omu.
Yeah, I will. I think I probably would still stay in the inn, especially because the rest of my party is there. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be rude to the widow. I wouldn't ignore her outright. But I'm a working man. I got a job, honey.
Yeah. Well, the widow Malden Wargrove, she saw you when you got back and how beat up you were. She once you got healed, she helped you up to your room, which she's now insisted that you get a private room. And when she left you in the evening to go back and tend to her kids, she took all of your torn and dirty, your jerkin and your trousers and everything, and made sure you had a fresh pair that you could wear. And then the next morning, while you were at breakfast, she brought back those others. They have been very neatly darned and mended and washed and pressed, and they look like, with the exception of where the needlework is, which is very fine needlework that she does. Apparently she sews all of her own clothes and sews the clothes for her kids as well. She's very skilled with the needle and thread, and they look fantastic. So you have now a fresh extra pair of clothes to wear under your armor.
Actually, so nice. Wow. I mean,
yeah.
Just like in real life, Oma would be really touched to be like, wow, thank you. That's really thoughtful. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, well, Omu, you're such a hero for the town, and you'll always be my hero. And she bats her eyes a little bit, and she grips your hand, and she says, "Now, do be careful when you're out battling those monsters.
She's
I
so
worry
nice.
so much for you."
Oh wow. Oma would be playing it a lot cooler than I am right now. That was really like almost, like I would hope in real life I wouldn't react like that. If like a damsel was like, "You are such a hero," I'd be like, "Yeah, I know it." But we don't have to go into a ton of detail. But Oma would be really touched. That's actually really nice. That's really nice.
Hey,
Especially what she said too.
Yeah, so she says, "Well, I've got to go. I've got to go see to the kids. So you let me know as soon as you're back in town, won't you?"
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then she gets halfway to the door, and she turns around and she blows you a little kiss. And then she runs to the door, and she stops at the door, and she opens it, and she turns back, and she looks back at you, and there's a little bit of moisture in her eyes.
That's so
and
sad.
then she, hikes up the hem of her dress and trots off into the town, heading back towards home. So, heading back out the door.
She has no idea how close Omu was to death.
Well, oh yeah, she has no idea. She has no idea. She also has no idea that Omu has probably had a net neutral impact on our adventures so far, in that he has basically just been present while other people have done heroic things.
I mean, to be honest, most of the work got done by the town guard when they swooped in at the end twice.
But it's about it's about sending a message. We're going down there, we're attracting the attention. That's something. That's part of being an adventurer. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so we will head back out to the Moat House. Go, and you're taking Aethert and Gowis in tow, correct?
Correct.
Okay. We decided we don't need to try to hire a cleric to go along or anything like that.
So we're going back to the boat's house.
To the Moat House, yes, to deal with that final monster there, and also, as Omu says, figure out what that extra treasure is. Wait,
what's a moat house? I thought it was a boat house the entire time.
No, Moat House. Moat House is like a small keep. It's like a fortified little, almost like a little barracks with just. It's a place where soldiers can stay and can hang out and be there. Hey, Wesley, welcome. And you can, it's got places for them to stay, some meeting rooms, places for provisions and horses and stuff like that. It's kind of like a small base where then they would patrol from, is what a moat house is. And it was built however many years ago. The town had problems with it. They sacked it about 50 years ago, and it's been in ruins since then. And now the party has been dealing with recovering it. But so yes, I know a couple of people had thought boathouse. I guess because that's a more modern term. But no, this is a moat house, which is basically just like a little fortified. It's not big enough to be really a keep or a castle, but it's just a fortified installation that has a moat around it. In this case, just a natural river that has been diverted to go around on both sides of it, and kind of sluggish, brackish water there out in the pond and whatnot. So, or the marsh, I should say.
There's a good example, I think. I'm just going to put in the Discord. I just found a picture online. It looks like it's a term that's often used. I guess that used to be used in England a lot. Like it really is just like it's just about the size of a house, but it looks like it is made of stone, like a big house, like a manor. But that's it. Like it's not a full-on castle.
Right.
You can see that.
Yeah, and you see probably a number of these if you watch at least my favorite summer travelogue / sporting event, which is the annual racing of the Tour de France. If you see the helicopter shots as they're going across different parts of the French countryside, there's always these chateaus, and some of them are chateaus that actually have moats around them, because whatever person built that chateau back in the 1500s said, I want to feel fancy like I have a castle, so they put a moat around their house. That's basically what we're talking about. So yeah, that's a good representation there, Mark, in the Discord. All right. Wesley, just want to catch you up a little bit. You haven't missed a whole lot. We basically dealt with the after effects of the tragic attempt last week. It wasn't tragic. It was just fruitless is probably a better word. The fruitless attempt to deal with the monster in the well at the bottom of the moat house, which got 2 of the PCs knocked unconscious, because it turned out the monster was not 1 but 3 giant crayfish. The magic user was able to.
When did this happen? Last week?
Yeah. The magic user was able to put 2 of the crayfish to sleep, but the 3rd one still chomped down on the elf and the fighter. And so they basically recovered from that, went back to town, spent the day healing up, hired a couple of retainers, and now they're coming back with their retainers, and Sylvia can come along too as well, and deal with that crayfish. They believe that the one crayfish, after it tried to bite or after it knocked down the 2 party members and they were so rudely dragged away by their friends, it turned its claws on the 2 crayfish that had been put to sleep and chomp down on them. So we think that there may be down to just 1 crayfish to deal with in that well. But still, it's a pretty nasty thing. So it's nice that they will have yet another fighter to help them out with. Oh, and Sylvia's an elf, right? So she's able to cast spells. There is a staff of striking, which is the 2-handed staff weapon that you whack people with, and it does extra magical damage. It's not the staff of the serpent.
Oh yeah, she'll put that on the crayfish real fast.
Okay, so we can go ahead and we can give the staff of striking for now to Sylvia. I'll put that in the notes. And then, oh no, wait a minute. No, Trophim has the bracer. Siren has the plate. That's correct? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Sylvia will take the staff of striking. Good. All right, then let me go back and update our map.
Have we done levels? Have we? Are we all still level 1? Because I haven't gotten any experience, so I didn't know what our level.
Oh, yeah. You, if you go in the Discord and check back through the session notes, it's got week by week. It's got what the experience is. And so for the sessions that you played, I think you've played a couple of different sessions with us. So for those weeks that you were here, you should add what the experience is to your character sheet. Now, as LC has discovered, the elf has, in the early levels, has among the highest logs of getting levels. Now,
Oh yeah, I knew that was one of the penalties of playing an elf.
yeah. Now, Akio has Omu gotten to level 2 yet?
Elmu is level 2 because I was a fighter. I only had to get to 2,000.
Okay.
A bonus for being 16 strength.
Right. And then I think Trophim is still level 1 because he's gotten he's gotten experience on 2 or 3 sessions. And then LC, how close is Siren to leveling at this point?
To level 3, he's about.
He is level 2 now.
Yes, I am level 2.
Oh, okay, all right.
But for my next level, I'm about 32,050 XP points away from the next level. 3,250 points away.
3,250. Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, we've got a mix of level 1 and level 2. So we've got 2 level 1s, 2 level 2s. All right. That's good. So we've got and it's nice that the level 2s also have probably the heaviest armor class, so they can go up front and get beat on, and let the 2 level 1s stand back and twiddle their fingers. And and Sylvia does have a great armor class, so she can mix it up when she needs to, but she also has that spell ability, so she doesn't have to jump in the middle if she's feeling like it's a tough fight. So let's go back to the Moat House now. I'm going to bring us to the part of the map where we are, and then there is a token here on the GM layer that I can grab for Sylvia, and I can move her down to the rest of the party. So now you guys are all there. Basically, what they discovered last week, they discovered this guy, and this guy is back to full health because he's eaten off of his buddies, and he's back to full health. So there's the corpse of 2 giant crayfish and the corpse and a living giant crayfish here. And Trophim had used sleep to knock 2 of them out, but the other one resisted. And so now you guys can kind of figure out what strategy you want to use this time. Do we want Trophim to do the same trick and try to put them to sleep again, or do we want to try something different?
Yeah, let's go with the sleep.
Well,
method.
how many charges at once can I expend on the Staff of Striking?
It's just 1 charge, and basically when you hit, you can expend a charge and deal extra damage. It's a...
So that would be 2 to 12 plus the, what is the staff?
1d6, yeah.
Yeah, 1d6 plus a charge would be another 1d6, so that's 2 to 12 plus, what's the staff's plus rating? Staff striking is like +1, +2, plus.
This is just going to be like a +1.
Not bad at all.
Okay, so I there's no reason for me to try sleep.
And I can do it.
Yeah, so we should both try it.
Well, now, both of you guys being level 1, you have 1 spell slot. So if you both use your spell slot, then that means if you have any other fights later today, which with the travel time, you may or may not run into any additional fights, that may not be something that you want to do, or you may, in fact, want to use it. So that's up to you.
Well, do we want to use it?
Yeah, I'd say so. We almost got destroyed by.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it's
we
worth
saw
it.
like there is some treasure in
If
that
the
top
first
left
one
corner.
fails, we don't cast them at the same time, you know. She
exactly.
can cast hers in the first round, and then I'll cast mine if it fails. I'm gonna put this stick on it.
Should I draw it out so it comes up and then we can stab it when you put it to sleep?
Okay, now the sleep in all editions is an area spell, and it's an indiscriminate thing. So it will affect all the creatures in the area. So if they're going to do a sleep spell, Siren probably doesn't want to be in the area of the sleep spell when that goes off, because if he fails to save, then he'll get put to sleep too.
Can I cast it so that the crayfish is only like at the border of the sleep spell, so we can all move?
Yes, you can. Now, one thing I didn't double check last time, I was using the 5th edition, which is probably the wrong size because the hit dice are completely different in this one. Let me just double check with the sleep spell what the area is. So it's a 240-foot range, and it's a 40 square foot area. So you will basically wind up. Yeah. Oh, it lasts even longer than I thought. It's 4d4 turns. So that's 40 to 160 minutes. So that's nearly 3 hours that I'm keeping.
Yeah, we're that it doesn't matter. We're gonna kill him anyway if it works.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, thinking about. Let me just draw a quick thing here. I'm going to use this so it'll show up a nice high contrast. If we go doing 5, 10, 15, 20. This is a 20-foot room. So it's basically twice the size of this room is what the sleep spell will affect, which is a pretty large area. So let's see. Go out to something like that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Oh, no, that's not quite. 35, 40. And then if I use this, which I realize part of this is still there. So that's basically, if you catch all of that room, it's this, but then you can actually take that and Trophim, you can center that spell anywhere. So if you want to push it like over here, you can do that.
I just wanted to encompass all of the room.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. That'll be good. So your sleep spell goes off, and then our dear friend, this crayfish has to try to make yet another save against this. This edition, you can affect up to 16 hit dice worth of creatures. So that's pretty. That's a lot. In later editions, they limit it to the number of hit points you can do, which means it's a little bit less effective. But in this edition, it's kind of OP, which is fine.
At low levels, then it becomes useless at higher levels.
Oh, yeah. So the combat, what are his saving throws? All monsters. Saving throw tables. So, monster saving throws, where are those? Right here, saves as. Okay, and then it's a spell. So he needs to beat a 14. So he's going to. Oh, hey, guess what? He failed.
Hey, he's dead. Hooray.
And he's. You hear the sloshing stop after the spell goes off.
Okay, now we just got to all kill him. And that will be pretty easy.
Should I roll or is he just dead?
You just take an edged weapon and slice it into a vital area, and he's dead. So, all right.
Wow! Hooray!
Okay.
Got the magic sword.
Yeah. Now, you realize with this thing, you could make a big old pile of gumbo if you wanted to make it.
A pile of what?
Gumbo.
What's that?
It's a stew that they make in Louisiana, in New Orleans. Cajun food.
Shrimp and
shrimp or crayfish, depending on whether you get saltwater shrimp or freshwater crayfish. that they'll make it with. All right, Siren. So you're over here. Let me tell you what you have discovered in this area. You have discovered. The. Okay. All right. There is a. All right. There's a sword near the back of the pool edge, and there's a platinum pin with a ruby and a bone tube. And that pin is under a skull, a human skull, and the tube lays nearby along with some bones.
Don't
So
have
the
any
tube-
thieves, do we?
Not with the party currently, no. The tube, when you reach it, looks to be watertight. So
Good, that means the spell should still be intact. Sylvia will pop that open and take a look. See at what might be inside this. I got a feeling I know what it is.
Okay. There is a scroll. And the scroll indeed has spells on it. There's actually 3 spells on it. They are spells for a magic user or an elf. So elves and magic users would be able to use this. The scrolls are Push, Stinking Cloud, and Fly.
Wow.
Ooh, sweet.
That is
Okay.
Ooh. Can they also copy those into their spell books?
Oh,
I think you have to. I think once you get to a level that you can cast the spells, you can automatically copy them. I think if you try to copy them before you get to the level, there's a chance that you could destroy them by trying to copy them and botching it up.
You can put it. It costs like X amount of money per level of the spell for special rare inks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Usually like 50 gold piece a level.
Ooh, that's nice.
Okay, the scroll has Push, Stinking Cloud, and Fly.
So is it one scroll or multiple scrolls?
It's one scroll that has 3 spells on it. And
One first level, one second level, and one third.
Yep. And you it's going to take me a while, Mark, to remember your character's name.
Trophim.
Trophim. It's Trophim. You, Sylvia, and Siren all know that that if you cast a scroll or cast a spell off of a scroll, the writing from that spell will fade, but the other spells will remain until you use them. And if you successfully copy a spell from a scroll, it doesn't destroy it, but it does let you put that into your spell book.
Well, I don't have a lot of use for the push spell. I mean, it's something I could use, but it would be situational. The straight magic user would probably have more use for the push spell, because like if something gets in your face and is trying to kill you, you can use the push spell to push it away from you, or push it into one of us one of the armored characters, so we can tank it for you. So that would probably want you to go ahead and learn. When we get back to town, put it in your spell book.
It's cool.
Yes.
And since the other two can't be, neither one of us are second level yet, and we can't use, or third level, and we can't use second level spells. Well, if one of us makes it to third level, then we'll worry about who's going to take the spell then.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And
Yeah. So I guess.
Sword look like?
So how you try to copy a spell?
You need to take some time, and I believe it's a. I'll have to double check the rules for this level, but I believe it's something like an hour per spell level that it takes to copy a spell.
Can you do it while moving?
No, you can't. You've got to kind of basically sit down. There's like whole rituals, and you have to have special inks, and depending on the magic user, you may have to have your candle that you have and your incense and stuff, and you sit there, and it's like a real concentrated effort. It doesn't count towards time that you're resting, and you cannot do it while you're traveling. So that would be.
I will say the only
With the-
problem is that only one of us can copy the spell, because once copied, it disappears.
Oh, okay. Well, so maybe we figure out which spell each person is going to copy.
Although if we all have the read magic spell, we could just share notes from our books. And
yeah.
Well, that's
While
that's
the
often frowned upon. That's kind of frowned upon in the original editions, but it's up to the DM, of course. Like I was saying, if the straight wizard should go ahead and take the push spell, because that's something he can use like to save his life. Whereas I don't have a whole lot of use for it being in melee combat. But once somebody gets to second level, you got to survive. Then we can decide who's going to take the later spells, right?
I'm jealous of the of our highbrow and mystical friends. What is the weapon for the lowly caveman of the party?
Oh, the weapon for the sword. Well, let's take a look at the sword. The sword looks like it's a fairly well made, but otherwise mundane sword. It doesn't appear to be magical. It's showing a little bit of rust from time being here, but it's the kind of rust that you take it to a good blacksmith, they could buff that out, and they could.
A great blacksmith, so perfect. It all lines up.
It would be serviceable. There's also, now that you get over there, there's kind of a rotted looking leather sack that's kind of gone, almost the same color as the stone, and that's why you didn't see it until you got right over there. And it, when you kind of click it or touch it with the sword, it clinks with the sound of coins.
Ooh.
Yes. So there's a total in that little sack of 19 gold pieces, 30 silver pieces, and 17 copper pieces. So 19 gold, 30 silver, 17 copper. So 19 gold pieces.
What type of sword is it? A short sword, long sword?
It's just a regular long sword. So one hand or two hand in this edition. And then 17 CP.
And you have to be a spellcaster to use the Staff of Striking?
Yes. Then let's see. There's also that pin. Pin being PIN, like a brooch. Pin with the ruby in it. And
Great.
that looks really fancy. That's probably quite valuable. Although you need to have somebody appraise it to figure out what the actual value is on it.
Does it appear just expensive, or does it appear magical?
It appears expensive. Platinum doesn't tarnish or rust, but it does show that it's been here a while. So it's got kind of a patina of age, And as I've established, at least in my game, because I just think it makes it a little easier for the players, is that if there's an item that's a magic item, then even if it's been sitting around for a long time, it looks like it's brand new, and it kind of gleams like brand new compared to other items around it that may have kind of a patina of age or show like dust or rust or whatever. The magic items, part of what imbues them with magic keeps them looking sparkly and new. This does not have that look, but it does definitely have the look of something quite fancy and expensive.
And you said it's platinum and ruby. That's going to be worth some dollars.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting as heck.
Did anybody take the appraisal skill? I took healing and alchemy.
I just kept the skills that were on my pre-gen. I think, but I'm going to check for what it's worth. I'm going to check. So we have healing and muscle. So that's a no.
Is the skill?
Yeah, and
just flex and see how we feel about it.
In this edition, there's a muscle skill that basically gives you a bonus on like opening heavy doors or stuck doors or
what is it like? Lift gates, bend bars was the name for it at one time.
Yeah, that I believe is from AD&D or from second edition. In this rule set, they hadn't quite come up with the whole bend bars, lift gates yet. That I think came in at the same time that you had percentile strength for fighters who got a natural 18 on their strength. You could then roll anywhere from 1801 to 1800, and each 20% was another little boost. Yeah, incremental boost on things. So
but muscles, it seems pretty self-explanatory. It's some use of brawn to achieve something, you know.
Yeah, it basically gives you a bonus. Gives you like an extra +1 bonus over and above whatever your strength bonus is to do certain tasks.
I do have the analyze spell if we want to use it to try to find out what something is.
Okay. Analyze spell. Let me just double check.
Oh, let me just cast it.
You mean identify?
No,
there's actually analyze an item. Yeah, so let's see.
I mean, it's pretty crap because there's only a 25% chance of finding out what it is, and it's only one characteristic. 5e is much more generous than this game.
Yeah, it was a... So let's take a look at the...
Oh, that's exciting.
And while he's doing that, I don't know if you noticed, Sylvia's going to strip off her backpack, her armor, weapons, everything except her dagger, which she's going to hold in her mouth, and she's going to jump in the water and see how deep this water is and if there's anything at the bottom, like anything that might sparkle.
Okay. The well, I'll just say the well goes down and down and down, and Sylvia gets to a point where she feels like, okay, I've gone down deep enough, and it's, there's obviously the pressure on your ears from diving down so deep that you're kind of thinking maybe I should turn around and go back up before I run out of breath. And
cool.
Yeah, you still haven't reached the bottom yet by that point. So you can't get a sense, but clearly there must be some water source deep underground that's causing this to flood. And, maybe those giant crayfish are coming from some deep underground river or underground lake or something. So it could be that from time to time you all will get dinner wandering up here once you get this place. Unless you could figure out some way of draining the well, going down there and installing like a gate that would keep creatures of a certain size from coming in. Or you probably could have magic and go down there with a water breathing spell or something and take care of that. Okay, so we're going to do percentile.
Old school editions were good about hiding stuff at the bottom of pools, so I wanted to check.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was such an expert move, but I feel such a, I don't know. There's like an anxiety that you're giving me because like he just dove right in. We have no idea what could be in there. Good luck.
Okay, now the Okay, well, Siren, you okay, that's an actual spell that you're using there for the analyze. You can tell as you start to handle this, and I'm going to let you decide whether you want to actually cast the spell or not. You can tell that this doesn't look like a magic item in terms of it doesn't sparkle the way a magic item would. Like, it doesn't sparkle the way that bracer did that your magic user is wearing. Doesn't sparkle like your shield did. It looks valuable, but it doesn't look magical. Now you can go ahead and take the spell slot and see anyway, or if you don't think that it will, because in reading the description of this spell, it really doesn't give you anything other than enchantments and magical effects.
Right.
So it's not like an appraise where it will give you the value of something.
All right, I guess I won't cast the spell then.
Okay. All right. But yeah, it definitely looks expensive. So the Gowis and Aethert they're just amazed looking at the size of this crayfish. And Sylvia's been working on it, and they're just like, oh, can't believe how big this thing is. It's like that'd feed 2 families for a whole week.
Sylvia's thinking, she's thinking, we having crayfish claws tonight.
Oh yeah. Hey, we're eating good around the campfire. Find some nice cayenne peppers and get some onions cooked up and some chili powder. And
we're establishing that.
Hey man, I'm from the South. I love gum.
It's actually really good.
All right. Well, so now that we've dealt with this, I think this would be a good point to go ahead and take our break for the session. We've been going about an hour and a half. I have 1:35 or 1:36. Let's go ahead and come back at 45 after the hour, and we will pick up from there and go on and see what we can find out about scouting this other lair that you all are looking for. I presume you're headed there, or did you guys want to go back to town?
Why don't shall we go back to town for what it's worth?
Yeah.
I mean, Sylvia comes back up safe and sound, right?
Oh yeah, she comes back up safe and sound. There's nothing else down there.
Then yeah, I figure we we go back to town and we take a view on whether we want to set out immediately, or if we do just want that one more day for was it Mark that cast the spell for him to get that spell back and prepare something alternate if desired for our overland travel.
Siren wants to set out immediately.
Yes. Omu, you will learn that in this party, Siren is always, okay, we've seen that. Let's go.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
He is that guy in this party.
Fair enough. I mean, there is the argument, we'll get it back, when we rest, overnight as we're making our way to the alleged location of Bargle's lair,
And you do have two other spellcasters who have spell slots. So even if Trophim has to kind of conserve the rest of his energy for the day and doesn't have any spells, you've got some other things you can do. And Trophim has his sling. He can shoot sling stones at something if he needs to get involved in a battle. All right, so we'll go ahead and take our break. We'll be back at, let's go ahead and be back at 50 after the hour now. And we'll finish up the rest of the session. I'm going to go ahead and put the slate up and put the music on, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay. All right, for a couple of those spells, I'm going to have to include the details on those in the notes because the source material I have is actually out of the for this Moat House is actually out of another edition of D&D, and those are spells that are in line with what was included in the original rules, but they actually appeared in a later edition. So I'll have to give you the details on the casting and all that kind of stuff. But the push spell is indeed a first level spell, and Stinking Cloud is a second. And then fly is in the original rules as a third level spell. And I'll just go ahead and give you the details on all of those. So, are we all back and ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready to roll.
Sure.
All righty then. Wesley, you're back and ready?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so what did we decide? Did we decide we wanted to push onward towards the Lair of Bargle, or was there a need to circle back to the Dale?
I'm down either way.
I too am neutral. So if it's
But I have a tendency to be more on the adventurous side. So if there's monsters to slay and gold to find, I'm all.
I mean, I think it will show willingness, won't it? If we set off now, the town is like, are you actually going to solve this problem, or are you just going to hang around town?
You're gonna hang around and be local heroes, or are you actually gonna go do something that we need done? All right. Well, yes, the you set off. I'm gonna move us for the time being to the overland map. You set off from the Moat House and go back to the main road, and you have that little clue in ringing around in your heads that you read from the note that Bargle had left for Lareth. And this is really the only clue that you guys have of how to find this place. Says 2 leagues south, find the oak with the sign of Y. Then travel an hour toward the sunset, where the failed in their dreams come to die. So that's going to require basically what amounts to some intelligence checks as we get close to where we think we might find this this marker. You guys know what you're looking for in general. You know you're looking for an oak with the sign of Y, but what that exactly means is up to interpretation. So you'll have to kind of use some, I'm going to call it some intelligence checks to see if you can figure out landmarks that you might use. So let's say you guys go for, approximately 6 miles. A league, I believe, is 3 miles. So you go down the road about 6 miles, and then you start looking. And will everybody roll me intelligence checks, please? We'll see. Ooh.
Sylvia's not very intelligent today. Wouldn't have been a great attack roll, though.
Yeah. And Trophim, do you remember how to do that?
How to do what?
An intelligence check from your...
Let me try.
Excellent. Oh, okay. Well, 3 successes. Okay. Good. Sylvia is looking around and she's like, now what would be the sign of Y? What would be the sign of Y? And there's like some really wonderful foliage out today, and there's some very interesting wildlife that is over there. That buck, that's like a 12-point buck. Yeah, I bet that venison would taste really good. Is kind of what Sylvia is up to. And meanwhile, Elsie and Accio and Trophim all, or I'm sorry, Siren and Omu and Trophim all find an oak tree that actually grows up to about 12 feet, and it's got some very old scarring on it. Like maybe once, years and years and years ago, it possibly got either hit by an axe or struck by lightning or something, and it has grown from the height of about 12 feet into 2 main trunks. So if you look at the main trunk up to where it splits, it kind of like the whole tree, the structure of the whole tree is shaped like a Y. And indeed, you find at the base of that tree, there is a game trail. And between the 3 of you succeeding and Trophim having a really strong success, as soon as he points out the game trail, all the rest of the 3 of you, including Sylvia, can see that this is a game trail that's actually used by more than just game. So it's maybe supposed to look like a game trail, but they're not hiding it as well as they should. You can tell there's like some boot prints that haven't been washed away by the most recent rain that head off down that direction. So this may well be the place that is mentioned in the note. Do you guys want to keep searching, or do you want to take off that way?
So there's a game trail already, and we can see that it's used by more than just small game. It's like people have traversed it. The Y tree, and sort of, it's just a natch. Sometimes trees are weird shapes, or is there anything that might indicate it is something a little more intentional?
There's not really like a nature check in this thing. Now you do have a couple elves that kind of are naturally in tune with the natural world, but you could do maybe another intelligence check, Omu, if you wanted to, and see if you can tell anything about this tree other than its general shape.
Ooh, narrowly. All right. Yeah.
As you look at it, the best you can tell, it looks like it probably, if it was intentionally cut into the shape of a Y, that's happened so long ago that it's all healed up. So it could have been just a happy accident, or it could have been, that there was an old fight here, decades ago that damaged the tree, and now it's grown this way. But it doesn't look like there's been any intentional shaping, recently.
Okay. I say we just follow the game trail, right?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. Well, you all start heading off that way. And is there a particular marching order? It's the four of you, and you have your 2 men-at-arms that are along for moral support. Do you have any idea who you want to go first? Or because the game trail, you could walk 2 abreast, but there are places that it gets a little narrow, that you might want to have one person go first.
Saren will be in the front.
Okay. And who would be in the next rank behind him when that becomes necessary?
Sylvia will take up the next slot, or she can take up the rear, whichever one you want her to do.
I'd go in the back.
Okay. All right. So we'll put Saren out front.
Does anybody have the alertness skill? Or danger sense?
Basically a big, dumb Homo sapiens. We'll put our 2 hired retainers at the very front, just in front of Siren.
I want to be in the very front. If
Okay.
they tried to get in front of me, I'd put my shield out and push them back.
Wow. Brave as hell. I guess then if we have, why don't I go behind Sylvia just as another, sort of combat focused person, just in case someone tries to come up behind us. I am in plate armor now.
Okay. So we would do.
Be good to have either an archer or somebody like that in the very, very back. Somebody with the skills like a high dex or a high wisdom, so that they can notice like things trying to sneak up behind us.
Yeah, the 2 men-at-arms, they're armed with both crossbows and with swords. So if you guys want them to be like range support, they will.
They can cover the back, yeah.
Yeah, they will fall in behind Trophim to make sure that nothing comes up and tries to crunch the squishy magic user from behind. And then, if there's fighting going on up ahead, they can always use their crossbows and take long range pot shots with those. So they'll do that. All right, good. So now that we have established that order, after a time, the game trail intersects with a slightly wider road. And that road goes up, and you can see it starting to lead towards a hill. And as you get to the edge of some woods and look, you can see there's a wall out in front of this hill, and there's large gates that are set into the wall. Now, this wall looks like it's about 50 feet high, and the gates are of equivalent height. the wall looks like it's pretty thick, and it looks like it's in very bad condition because there are parts of it that are crumbled and everything. And there appears to be towers at both the right and the left. And I'm going to go ahead and put this, move us over to this map. Now, it's a big map, and you'll probably have to zoom out to see most of it. But let's take a look here. Okay, yeah. If you zoom way out. Now this is now every square of actual movement on the Roll20 grid is a 5-foot square, and the squares that you see on the actual map are approximately 10-foot squares. So the grid that this was built on, and I'll point out a couple of items to you that you can see from this vantage point. Okay, over here, this area, there appear to be the original gates that just appear to have been thrown down somewhere in a pile. And there's newer gates that have been installed up here. These gates show signs of wear. They're kind of rotted and everything like that. There's actually a break in the wall over here to the what would be the far west side of this map. There's a break in the wall you can see through there. As you can tell from all this debris and everything that's around, the wall is crumbling in places. And then at both the west side and the east side of this wall, there are towers. From the distance that you all are, you cannot tell whether there's any arrow slits in the towers just yet or not. But this is where your path has led you. What would you like to do?
Really would want to follow Sylvia's lead as she takes cover behind that little bit of debris, just in case, as we're approaching, someone goes, "Oh, look, bad guys approaching," and they start to come out or take a clever little shot at us.
Hey, Omu, do you still have one of Bargle's
Cloaks?
Cloaks? Yes, a cloak.
You're gonna ask. Yeah, I do.
I'll take one of those and put that on. I'm currently wearing the plate armor that Priest had, and with the cloak, I should blend in fairly well. At least they won't shoot me on sight.
Good.
And I think you had given cloaks to each of your men-at-arms, and so they'll ask you this: should we put those on, do you think?
I mean, it won't hurt.
I think so, right?
Okay. And so they'll go ahead and put those on. And then they look over at Trophim and they say, should we act like he's our prisoner, or what do you all want to do? Or is he just with us?
I mean, well, it's up to Omu. He's got the silver tongue of our group, so if he wants to persuade our way in.
Let's just keep, let's wear these cloaks. Worst case scenario, they're confusing if a fight breaks out. And best case scenario, if we see an opportunity to use the the diplomatic or the deceptive route, we take it.
Okay. And Omu, you said you were going to move over near Sylvia to kind of crouch down behind these fallen doors. Is that?
And they're high enough to provide that little bit of cover, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're laying on their sides, but as you get close, you can see that the wood on them is like around 5 feet thick. And you can also see probably why these doors were ripped down and replaced, because the timbers that make up these doors are very rotted. They're, it's a they have seen their better days, and the doors or the gates that have been that have replaced them in the wall, they are also made of wood, but they look much newer. They look very new compared to even the wall itself. So clearly it's like somebody got as far as ripping those down, putting these other, but they haven't figured out what to do with the stuff or the trash. The trash, the fantasy trash guys haven't come along to pick these up and haul them away, which, they'd need a pretty big conveyance for that, because those are big. Now, Althert and Aethert and Gowis, they're not going to leave the magic user by himself over here, but they're going to say, do you want us to stay here, or do you want to head over to those gates as well? They'll kind of ask Trophim.
Say again, please.
Do you want to stay here on the path, or do you want to go over towards those gates as well?
By the way, quick question. Can I cast spell again now, or?
It's still the same day, so it's getting towards evening. So now you guys could kind of head back to the cover of the woods and make a camp, or you could.
I don't mind.
Okay. Sylvia, while you are over there, you make me a wisdom check, if you will. Oh, excellent. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch what looks like something moving in the shadow underneath the doors over there.
She takes a step back and kind of motions to Umu, with her head in the direction if she sees something moving.
Okay.
Points the arrow.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Siren and Trophim, you guys both sense that Sylvia and Omu they tense up a little bit, and they're like, there's some pointing at the shadows under the doors. What do you all want to do?
For what it's worth, I would just get a hand axe ready that I could throw. Okay. So that I've got something ranged ready if they come out.
Okay.
We can almost see just the way that the door doesn't quite meet the actual ground. Between that gap, we're able to see just maybe boots or the feet of some people. Is that right?
It's more like movement. You can't quite tell what it is. It appears that these doors are partly covering some sort of depression or pit, and it seems like something is moving down in that depression or pit.
I would just want to hold exactly where I am for a
Okay.
moment or two. Just see.
Siren, are you doing anything? Are you?
I guess I'll stay where I am, but motion to Trophin, Gallus, and Aethart to move over to the doors, I suppose. The ones that aren't attached.
Okay. Trophim, you are in charge of your character. You can move wherever you want. Do you want to go over towards Sylvia and Omu, or do you want to stay closer to Siren?
I'm going to, I guess, tag along with Siren.
Okay. All right. And so if you move up closer to Siren, then Uthert and Galwis will kind of get over here where they can kind of provide some cover to you guys in case something happens. And indeed, about the time they get into position there, something does happen. Something stirs and crawls out from under the doors and lunges at Sylvia.
Good.
Oh,
And we will go ahead and put everybody in initiative, and we will see what happens. What happens? So add a turn, and add a turn. And then, okay.
Let me roll for initiative real quick.
Yeah.
Where do I roll for initiative again?
On the combat tab. Yeah. So this guy.
I did send it.
Okay, so this guy.
Do I get an opening shot since I had my bow drawn and the arrow notched ready to fire?
Well, you're not surprised. And this thing.
Wait, what is that thing?
It's a big worm-like creature that has what looks like tentacles around its mouth.
They're known as carrion crawlers.
And it is crawling out towards your elf and your fighter. And it is going, oh crap. It makes, sorry, I'm not making that roll yet. So it goes on a 2. And then Gallus will go on a 2. And then Aethert will go on a, whoops, not on a 14. Aethert will go on a 5. All right, go 5. All right, so we'll just go ahead and then put everything in order. And actually, Sylvia, I think you have a better deck, so you go before Aethert. This creature, it's kind of it looks like a gigantic grub or centipede with these kind of white, pasty, bulbous skin. And it's got these writhing tentacles around its mouth.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And it's about 10 feet long. And it comes out, and those tentacles are waving menacingly at your direction.
So you don't get an opening shot with a bow in this edition?
Hey,
when you have it drawn and arrow notched?
If you
on a bow too.
Right, if you get surprise, which basically means you know there's an enemy, you know what you're shooting at, and you say, I want to shoot at them before anything happens, then you would get kind of a surprise round that way. This since you were kind of waiting to figure out whether there was a menace or not, then as soon as everybody comes out, neither side has surprise, so it just goes in initiative. You guys get to go first, so you can shoot before it attacks.
Do you get 2 shots with a bow in this edition?
I think you eventually get 2 shots at a later level. Let me just double check.
Okay. If you don't, I'm gonna toss it aside and use the staff.
Okay. So, all right.
Did you take the staff of striking in the end, Sylvia?
Yep.
Yeah, I've had it.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
You said you had to be able to cast spells to use it, and so I'm a frontline fighter and can cast.
Yeah. Yep. So it
Good.
makes sense to have the. All right, come on. Where does the social effects? Bow. Yeah, it looks like at first level it's just 1 attack per round.
Alrighty, then I will burn a charge off the staff and try to swack it.
Okay. And hits AC 2. That's enough. That's enough to get it for 9 points of damage. So you whack it good. And in fact, that 1 hit is enough to bloody it. So you whack it and it kind of writhes in pain, but it seems kind of angry. And then Aethert, he is just, or did you want to move, Sylvia, or you just wanted to whack it? Okay.
She's going to stay here in the melee range so she can swack it again.
Okay. Well, Aethert will just move up a little bit next to Siren, and he is going to shoot with his crossbow. And he needs a 19 to hit an armor class 0. So he hits an armor class of 3, and that is enough to hit this. He deals 4 damage. Not a great hit, but it's enough. After Sylvia's big whack, the crossbow bolt digs into it, and then it twitches and it goes limp and falls still.
Damn, already.
Yes.
Don't work. Woohoo. Will the staff of striking still be +1 even after its charges are used up?
Yes. Now, in later editions, they came up with the concept that things recharge on their own overnight. In earlier editions like this one, an item came with a certain number of charges, and this one doesn't specify that anything happens to it after the last charge is used, so it still stays a staff. But if you want to use it, you have to basically pay a magic user or do magic rituals to recharge it, and then it will gain back charges. It has 20 charges right now, so you can use it
Cool.
19 more times,
Cool.
and then you have to recharge it.
Cool.
Well,
And there was
if I
always
rolled good, I was figuring if I rolled good, I would kill it, but I rolled terrible on damage. Out of 2 to 12, I did 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all right.
But it does 3 to 13 when you burn a charge, plus your strength bonus.
Yep.
That's really good.
So the monster falls silent and still, and we are out of initiative. What would you guys like to do?
It came out of like a little, basically like a pit that is just underneath these doors.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
I kind of want to light a torch and just like hold it so we can see into the pit better and see if maybe there are more of them in there.
Okay. You look down, and you, as you light the torch and poke it down there, with the monster out of the way, you can clearly see a pile of coins at the bottom of the hole, about 8 feet down.
Oh, a pile of coins, huh? What type of metal do they appear to be?
They glint with a coppery hue.
I'm not
There's
dying
also-
just for some pennies.
There's also something else that you can see down there. Oh, I'm sorry. There's both silver and copper coins, and actually, it's a fairly decent pile of coins. And and you can see the remains of a skeleton, but it's not a human skeleton.
Ooh. Does it appear to be like a humanoid skeleton at least? Is it like, 2 legs, 2 arms, skull, ribcage?
Yeah, it's humanoid. The head is decidedly canine, and it looks to be the stature of about a goblin. So it's kind of a small canine creature. You think that you've dealt with gnolls, which are rather tall canine creatures.
I think
You think it's probably a kobold.
interesting. I really think these coins are a trap. I don't know why. Something that just is so...
This would be
Can I get some of the goo from the carrion crawler on my arrowheads?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
The tentacles, you can try to, as you try to manipulate the tentacles, they appear to have kind of, they have a substance that sort of comes out of them, but after its death, as you touch it, it doesn't seem to be having any effect.
Darn.
So it's like, now there could be a gland or something deeper in that you could try to harvest, and then maybe back in back at a wizard's lab or something, you might be able to try to refine and find some stuff in there that could be useful.
So, what would I roll to try to harvest that? That be
yeah, let's make it a dex check.
Got the 12 on the money.
Okay. Well, you cut in, and You do, in fact, find that there's a gland that appears to be just behind the creature's eyes and in front of its brain, and it's got what looks like little tubes that lead down towards where the tentacles are, and it seems like it's filled with some kind of a viscous liquid, although when you carefully cut out the bladder, it's not leaking any of that liquid. You can tie off the little tubes leading to the tentacles, and then safely store it somewhere. Either you or Siren or Trophim or all three of you could probably get together and manipulate that and try to figure out what you can distill out of it at a later time.
That is so interesting. Ooh.
Carrion crawlers have a paralytic poison. That would be very useful to have on some arrowheads.
Yeah. So Gallus and Aethert, they look over at Siren and Trophim. You're kind of like, you guys want to go over and take a look?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. All right. They'll wait for you all to go up there and then, take their customary spot as sort of rear guard. Is everybody able to move their tokens on the board okay? Or
Yeah. I'm just cautious.
Okay. All right. So Omo, you can see these coins down here. Siren, are you going to go over and check those out? Or Omu appears to be a little bit reluctant to go coin diving. Do we have any ideas what we might want to do to try to get those, or are we just going to leave them be?
Siren needs to go in and finish things off.
Let's head in a little. Let's explore. If they've been here for some time, they can, in theory, survive for another few hours or half an hour as we look around.
Okay. All right. So, you have gates here in front of you, and you have a opening in the wall over here to the west. What do you guys want to try to do?
I want to sneak up and check that left opening.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
Just
and
the corner.
Then Trophim, what about you? You gonna hang out here? Or you gonna move up with?
I'm gonna move up with Siren behind him.
Okay. All right. Omo, Sylvia, what do you guys want to do?
Basically the same. Yeah, I was gonna sort of.
Yeah, your guards are gonna keep pace with the magic user to make sure that.
I do want to hug the wall though as we come up to this sort of thing, so that it is acting as cover, if you will.
Okay. All right. Well, Siren, it is daytime, so I'm going to go ahead and reveal more of this area now that you're here, where you can see. Siren can see kind of up into. Oh, come on. All right, don't be annoying to me. There we go. You can see more of this area here. It looks like the wall is crumbly on this side, and you guys are making an effort. At least the party members, you all are making an effort to be sneaky. I take it. You're, if that's the case, your guards will go ahead and follow your lead. Saren,
Mhm.
you can basically see inside there's a large courtyard, it looks like, but from your vantage point, you can't see much more than that. You'd have to move a little closer to the edge to see what's around the other side of that wall.
Yeah, I'll try to get a bit of a better angle.
Okay. Go ahead, and when you get there, go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
Alright.
You don't have a hide skill, do you, or
No.
stealth skill? Okay. Oh, good. All right. Well, from this angle here, you are able to see more. You can see that there is a what looks like a structure of like a castle or something, and then you can see hugging the wall of that castle over here. You can see two very much alive kobolds.
Question: how long are we still gonna play?
Probably about another half hour,
Okay.
and then we'll, yeah, because we usually go till about 3:00 my time.
For me, anyway.
I gotta leave early. In fact, sorry.
Oh, you got to leave a little early today?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, do we want to? Rest of us, we want to keep going, or do we want to call
I
it?
don't mind you keep going. I don't mind if you keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just say that you don't have any spells left for the day, so we'll just say that the guards kind of flank you to make sure that nothing happens. All right.
Okay.
Well, we'll
Bye.
see you next week then. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
All right. So, Siren, two kobolds
Hmm.
from there that you can see, and there's like big hunks of rock, big chunks of this wall. You feel like you've probably stayed stealthy enough that they haven't seen you, and that's a pretty good distance away. They're like nearly 100 feet away from where you are. So, what would you like to do? Because I think at this point you're the only party member that knows that they are there. Did we lose Siren?
Oh, sorry, I'm back. My thing disconnected.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, these guys are about 100 feet away, and you are the only party member at the moment that knows that they are there. So, what would you like to do?
I guess I'll signal over to the other people and try to tell them there's a couple gold bolts ahead.
Okay, so Sylvia, you see some hand signs from Siren. We haven't established yet, and we can try to establish now. is there among the elven people, is there kind of any sort of uh, hand signals that you all use to signal each other when you're kind of in the woods trying to be stealthy, either as hunters or as people scouting to defend from potential attackers?
And if it was, Siren probably wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, he's just gesturing. You don't know whether he's trying to shoo a fly away or what he's trying to do.
Well, she'd probably know that he's indicating there's something over there and just not knowing what it is.
Yeah.
She's keeping an eye on the main gate in case they come out, and I don't want them to circle around behind the park.
Okay. All right. Omo, anything you would like to do?
So they haven't reacted at all to Siren. They are, and do they look like they're standing guard? Like, are they holding little spears and kind of looking ahead?
Well, you can't see because you're over here behind the wall.
If we
So,
little rascal style whisper down the line.
And he is, Omu is, or I'm sorry, Siren is crouched down behind some rubble and sort of peeking around, and he's like holding out some fingers to try to indicate. You maybe eventually get the fact there's two of something, but without going over there and asking him, or without him coming over and telling you, you don't know two of what. If it's two more of these carrion crawlers or two more whatever.
Probably would.
Without being able to get your eyes on them or somebody telling you, you don't really know what's there.
I mean, if I have to kind of, make my way over there and whisper to him, like.
So if you walked over here, you would still have the wall sort of protecting you, and then you could whisper to him.
And that's exactly the way that I do it.
Okay.
Crouch down so that, say it as literally as quietly as possible, just in case. I don't know what's over there. It might be something with very sensitive hearing or whatever.
Okay. And at that point, Siren can tell you it's two kobolds, and yes, they do look like they are standing guard. They do look kind of bored. But they're, from his vantage point, two is all he can see, and then he can see that at the back of this, it looks like this structure is built right into the hillside. And the hill rises up behind this structure, and the wall, this wall goes over into the structure as well. So I'll just go ahead and make sure that is open so you guys can see that part of it there.
Mm.
But of course, he doesn't know what else is, off this way, or if there's anything on the other side of the gate, because he hasn't poked his head in there deep enough to look yet.
Mm. And the wall on this far side, right? The one that we can see, is it in such disrepair that it also has little holes or little gaps where we would be able to go around and see through?
No, it's about a 15-foot thick wall.
Wow.
So while it looks brittle and crumbly, and you're not sure even how safe it would be to climb that wall, it's thick enough that there's no spot that you just can look through. This appears to be the only gap in the wall that you can see.
Spells did our guys prepare today?
I have sleep and magic missile.
Okay. What's the range on sleep in this edition?
Let me check.
I thought it was huge. It's like 240 feet.
Yeah. So, and then it's that 40-foot square. So you could knock those two guys out. I think they're close enough that a 40-foot square would get them. Let me just double check here. Yeah, they're 20 feet apart. So if you put a 40-foot square somewhere in that area, you could potentially get both of them. But then, of course, without further investigation, we don't know if there's any other kobolds in this area yet.
Right.
So, and then what does Sylvia, or are you going to go and ask Sylvia what she's got?
Yeah, I would. I just in case there's something that we can use to kind of blow this thing wide open. You know what I mean? Like, like a charm person or whatever, so that we can get one of these guys to just be enthralled and at least wave us in to the initial area, and then maybe back up our story as we try and talk our way through, and then to the next, and so on.
Okay. And Sylvia, I'll say once you get up here close enough to the party, the men-at-arms will relay the message down to you that they see two kobolds who look like they're standing guard, and they, Siren says they look bored. Okay. And they will pass the message back that Sylvia also has the sleep spell available. So we've got at least two castings of that, and then Siren has an offensive spell with the magic missile.
Plan B. I don't think kobolds are particularly intelligent. We could try to deceive our way up to them and then quickly take them out if we needed to.
Yeah, I think that could be a good strategy.
I think there's probably a lot more than two of them up there.
Yeah.
Well, all the more reason to.
And don't forget about this gatehouse to our left that we can't see inside. There could be enemies inside of it too.
Should we? And we can only basically get into that gatehouse by going through the gap and then flipping around.
Yep.
And going. Yeah. Okay. Should we
As you get, I'm going to say that as you get closer here, you can see that, like I said, there's this wall is about 50 feet high. It does look like probably at about 25 feet up, it looks like there's an arrow slit. There's an arrow slit here. At about 25 feet up, and then at about 40 feet, there's another arrow slit, and then there's some crenellations around the top. But you guys have moved up, and you know these walls are in really rough shape. You haven't seen anything from the top look over and call down to you, or there's nothing looking at you, and clearly it's dark behind the arrow slits, but you haven't seen any movement in there, which may or may not mean anything, but you're at least close enough to tell that now, Omo. And Sylvia and Siren. All of you can see that from where you are.
Possible for me to just try and, I think if we do it as a mass, it will not end well. But is it possible for me I'm just going to use I won't move my token, I'll use the ruler thing. If I try and get there, and then just try and from there to there, right, kind of go like around, peek in this gatehouse. Can I do that?
Okay. You can. It's D&D. You can go
Wherever you want.
The thing to keep in mind, it is daylight.
Sure.
So if you move over here, there's the potential that these guys obviously have line of sight. They might see you moving over here and see you going around there. And if there's anybody else, from beyond this area that you all can't see yet, they would clearly be able to see over into that area too. So you've got a potential to do that. Somebody had mentioned, just laying out the whole array of options. You all have the cloaks. So somebody had mentioned possibly going in there looking like you own the place. Or perhaps even now that you see that there's some guards just going back to the gate and banging on the door and asking them to open in the name of Bargle. Or you could try to just walk through and go up there, and if somebody challenges you, well, then you could either try to bluff your way past or you could try to fight your way past. But obviously you don't know how many enemies you're dealing with. Or then you could just wait until your magic user is also at full strength with his spells and, basically go camp, then come back and try this the next day when all 3 of your casters have sleep at the ready, in case you need to use it. So that's your whole array of options there.
We could try dropping a sleep spell on those 2 to take them out, and then move over to the gatehouse or the tower here and use it as a defensive position against anything else in the courtyard that comes at us. That way we could bottleneck them and not take arrow shots from everything in the courtyard.
I like that.
And if the building here is still intact, we can go up inside of it and maybe use the arrow slits against the enemies as they advance on it.
I love that.
Or we can just make a break for it and then try to group them up so we can get more of them with the sleep spell at one time. Of course, we don't know if there's enemies inside the gatehouse. In the tower, but that's assuming that there probably isn't. Otherwise, they would have been shoot at us by now.
Let us.
At the very least, it gives them only a small entrance, so we can bottleneck them and force them into coming to us instead of us having to go to. Just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, or what if we?
Or you can try to bluff your way in. But if that goes badly,
yeah, yeah. It is the thing with in life, anytime bluffing, you're handing over or you're ruling out some options. If you go up and announce yourself, you're then precluding all the stuff like, well, we're going to just sneak straight in. We're going to, set up a good, solid tactical position and then sort of force them to come to us. If you walk up to engage in social interaction, it means that now you're 5 feet away from these 2 guys that might suddenly get pissed off or might realize that you're fucking around. So I think if we can, we hit those 2 with a sleep spell that we can see, and then we take up a little cover in the guardhouse and see what else it shakes loose.
Unless other kobolds see us put 2 of them to sleep and they come and investigate.
Right?
Well, now, Siren, from your vantage point, what you can tell is that the lead guy, he's actually beside the building. He's not out in front of the building. So if he fell asleep and he just leaned against the wall or fell over, nobody might even be able to tell, depending on, where other people are, have a vantage point. Now, clearly, if there's somebody, on the other side of the wall over here or something, they might be able to see. But or if there's somebody, kind of close over in this area, they might be able to see or hear that somebody crunches and falls down. But there's,
I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to see if I can sneak to the other side.
See, the
of this wall
sleep spot is a
over
40-foot
here.
radius, or 40
So I
foot,
can get a better
40
view.
foot by 40 foot.
Okay. Yeah, that's we see that area that Sylvia is marking out. Now, Siren, you are moving, so go ahead and make me a dex check while you move.
Oof, that was close.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. These are kobolds. Kobolds aren't the most attentive of creatures. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna give them basically a wisdom check here. So there's 2 of them. Okay. Yeah. They you move over, they don't seem to react when you pass by. So
Do I see any more into the courtyard over here?
now let me just check your angle of view. Oh yeah, you've got a good angle. Okay. All right. So we'll start with what you can see, which is about to there. And then I'm going to turn that into this kind of thing and just start there and bring it down to there and to there, to there, back to there. So you can see there's, whoops. Let me go ahead and be a little clearer. The reason they are there is because there's doors there. And then there's a bit more. Obviously, this continues on down to the wall like that. So it appears that there are 2 kobolds in the front of a door, of a gateway there. They from your angle, you cannot see if there's anything behind the main gate.
All right. I guess I'll make hand gestures trying to indicate that there's 2 more kobolds, and I'll point out their direction.
Okay.
Pointing in this general direction.
Okay.
And so we basically have an assortment of sleep and magic missile. So there's nothing like disguise self or
Somebody has it
I
memorized.
can't think of any other things of that nature, but we would, yeah.
No, the best you have in the way of disguise is that you have those cloaks with the symbol of Bargle on them.
And my spider plate armor.
And Lareth's
Your spider
plate
plate
armor, yeah.
Oh, I'm ready to just take a shot at him and get something going here. We've been sitting here for 20 minutes.
I would rather not waste 2 sleep spells on 4 kobolds.
So I'm saying, I'm just ready to just go out there and shoot him with arrows.
know if they might just use numbers and mob us. You know, our mission was really just
with a sleep spell.
Come on.
Which is perfect if they mob us, because that'll get them all in one area and hit them with the sleep spell all at once.
Yeah, and then the other thing that to keep in mind, Wesley, since you weren't here last week, is the mission that you were asked to do is to find and scout the location. They are willing to, the village council is obviously going to be pleased if you can bring back any evidence or intelligence for them, but all they really expect is some intelligence of trying to figure out exactly where this lair is, and what kind of strength of forces there might be there. You clearly know that there's a number of kobolds here at this point. And you could decide, oh well, this is good enough, we could go back to town, or you could try to get inside and see what sort of goodies you could get for yourselves.
I think we could take 4 to 6 kobolds.
Well, yeah, I think we can take 4 kobolds pretty easily. But the other thing we could do is, if perchance they set off the alarm and they draw some enemies out, we can always run.
Sure.
We can see what the force is and then run away if it's too much for us, and then report back to town, hey, we saw X number, we took out this number. We saw 10 kobolds, an ogre, whatever, and we killed 2 or 3 of them, so pay us up.
Siren, what were you trying to say?
I was just saying, Siren so far either wants to go with the bluff plan or just snipe the 2 kobolds with bows.
Okay. Your retainers will follow your lead. They'll do whatever you guys do.
And they've got crossbows.
Yeah.
I have my longbow.
I'd like to. I genuinely think we just do enough to confirm it is Bargle's lair, and then we let we come back with an actual squad of people, because the local government, the village elders, and so on, they were willing to commit to some soldiers to send, but they just didn't know for sure where Bargle's lair is.
Glory in that, Omu.
This could all end badly, but I guess that's the excitement. So here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sylvia's gonna do something.
She's going.
Yeah, I'm pulling out my bow and I'm getting ready to aim.
I'm giving you time to make up your mind, or I'm gonna take an action.
All right, I'll go along with what the party does. Omu is not the party leader, but he is moving into better cover.
Okay.
All right, then Sylvia will step out here and take.
Let me get my sword out for what it's worth.
Okay, so yes, you, with the fact that you all have not been seen and that you all can see your enemies, this is a situation where you all can get basically sneak attack round and take a shot.
Yeah, I'll fire at whatever one Sylvia doesn't shoot at.
Okay, so Sylvia, which one are you targeting? The front one? Okay, so Sylvia attacks this guy, and an AC 3 will hit, and it sprouts an arrow from its throat, and it falls down dead.
Nice.
And LC, your shot misses, and this one goes, oh, what? And then you can hear or you can see these two. They tense up, and you can hear them call. And then you can basically hear the sound of other. And I'll just go ahead and I'm going to open up the rest of this. Even if you guys can't.
Bluffing plan. Oh, well.
If you guys can't see it, you can definitely hear them. Oh, that's weird. I hate it when it does that. There are 4 situated behind the main gate, and then
But from where they are, they can't see us, correct?
No, but one of them went down, and one of them made the alarm and or raised the alarm, and so now you can hear other voices of similar creatures. So basically, you have 4 behind the main gate, 2 at the main door, 1 over here on this side, and 2 over here on the far side of the building. So that's basically what you're dealing with. So you now have a total of 7 kobolds that are left after one is down.
Now that I've made my shot, can I
Actually, shouldn't it be
move?
9? There's 2 over here, aren't there?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah,
Two
you're
more.
9.
There we go.
9. Okay. A total
After
of 10.
taking my shot, can I take my regular movement?
Yeah, sure. So you go
I'll move inside
over
here and see what's in here.
Yep.
Fuck.
This is a there's not anything in there. You can tell that the upper stories of this, which the interior was wood, it has rotted away and collapsed. There's no stairs leading up. The tower is empty, basically. But yeah, Sylvia, like you say, this is kind of a choke point here. And obviously, when you run around, the kobolds at the door, they point in your direction and they howl, and this one over here raises the alarm. And so you now hear the sound of little booted feet from behind the gate, getting ready to rush over. And it looks like when we reconvene next week, we're going to start with a big battle. So
Sylvia gives them a rude gesture as she runs by them.
Okay, so what I will do before we end the session now is I will allow you guys to say where you want to position yourselves, and then we will start with the initiative rolls next time. So where do you guys want to get in position now that you know that there's basically going to be this whole courtyard is going to be boiling with kobolds soon?
Siren stands boldly at the front like always.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I kind of want to.
Sylvia hollers at him to come over here.
I mean, but so how do? It is tricky though. Let's try and
move inside
think.
the tower
We don't have
and
a ton of time to think.
Once they group up, we can then hit them with a sleep spell and get a whole bunch of them at one time.
They're kobolds.
Sylvia, if you move one back, then
16?
as a melee, I could just be in front but still have cover. I mean, it's perfect. As they come in, that we really shouldn't be firing into melee, but you know what I mean. And yeah, I've still got cover from all of these guys if they have anything ranged.
Did we see any ranged weapons on them as I ran by? Did I see them with like bows or spears?
Looks like how are they armed? Looks like they do have short bows. So, clearly the ones on the far side of the building, they're probably going to have to move up to avoid having a penalty for being at long range. These guys over here, they're probably in range that they're not going to take any penalties, but depending on, for you guys that are hidden behind the walls of this tower, they can't see you. The only target that they would have at this point is probably Siren.
And
if
whoever
they don't
has the sleep spell, if they move up to right where Siren is, cast their sleep spell at that 4 right there, you might knock them all out and then run in here with us. And that would that could knock out half the force right there.
Yeah, because
or we wait till they group together and get them all at once.
Yeah, they're 50 feet apart, so you could easily get 3 of them. You
Then
could
just
get
wait
3
till
of
they group
these
up.
guys.
Get them together.
Yeah.
Or we could just stick our heads out here and shoot at them, and then jump back in and wait for them to get closer. Keep the advantage on them.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a plan. And if you guys want to, you can obviously make use of Discord during the week and talk about maybe what you want to do on the Discord. But we will go ahead and begin next week with initiatives and the combat, and we'll figure out how that will all get started. Okay. Well, any questions before we end the session for the day?
Thank you. It was a great session.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
And a staff I got a magical staff. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Magic item, more treasure, found some enemies, got a new place to explore, new enemies to kill.
So the Moat House is yours, right, Siren?
They're basically the party or the village council would like to entrust it to an adventuring party, but they'll work out with each individual person that basically everybody has a share, and then when you all get high enough level to start building your own strongholds, you can essentially buy out, if anybody wants to keep that one for their own stronghold, they can buy out the shares of the others.
But we can use it for a base of operations for now.
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah, you can use it
our
as
headquarters.
Mm-hmm. You have to spend some gold to get it cleaned up and fixed up and whatnot, but you all, as the adventuring company, will get the deed to it. They'll probably eventually start asking you what you want to be called, what you want to call yourselves as an adventuring.
Ooh, that's
company.
something we need to be thinking about. What's our adventuring group's name going to be?
Yeah. So, all right, everyone. Have a great week. Let's see. Far as I know, nothing going on next Saturday. It'll probably be into a little bit later in the spring before I have any conflicts. I do have season tickets. It's going to be 12 home games between April and October. So I've got season tickets for the soccer team that's here. And occasionally they will have, Saturday afternoon games, but sometimes they're Sunday afternoon games. And so, it's not going to affect us every week. And clearly when there's a road game, well, I can just watch that on TV. I don't need to, I can watch it an hour, time shift it an hour or two if I need to. So that's fine. And so we'll probably wind up playing at least 10 Saturdays out of every quarter throughout the year. And to try to have a regular cadence. And, if you start missing too often, then games tend to fall apart. because people forget and everything. So we will see you guys next week. Just let me know during the week as time goes on if you have any particular conflicts and if you can't make it. If we ever have 2 or 3 players that aren't going to be able to make it for a session, we'll probably just skip that week because we don't want to have too many people out in terms of the regular cast, regular group of players. All right, everyone.
DM.
Yep. Take care.
Very
Have
cool.
a great week, and we will
Take
talk
it
to
easy.
you all next week. Yep. Bye-bye. And thank you again, Lo, for hanging out and watching. Lo has been on the stream the whole time watching.
It's cool. That's really cool.
All right. Well, take care, everyone, and we will talk to you next week. Good night.
Right.
Yeah, you need to roll you up a